pleasure.
Good to meet you. So you've already done your keynote speech. You're feeling good about it?
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
And can you give me an idea? I mean, I'm not going to ask you to reiterate the entire speech, but kind of the gist of it. You spoke a lot about software and services, and that Microsoft has kind of a different model in mind for that. Can you expand on this?
Sure. I can expand. In this presentation, which I've done for the last 4 years, I really try to combine what's happening with the industry along with what we can do to help take advantage of opportunities. This year, because of the changing economic times, I really wanted to reinforce that we were in an industry that is still growing, and growing quite well. And so that we had an advantage there, that we could continue to focus on growing our business. And then I drilled down into how we're growing and which areas are growing more than others. And that's why we talked about managed services, because while some of the hosting business like shared and dedicated is growing at about 10% year over year, when you looked at the managed services, that growth rate is 26% year over year, and one that is very healthy. And then I drilled down into the work that we've done to make it very easy for our service providers to go into that business.
So how do you into managed hosting?
Yeah, into managed hosting, or at least to start offering those services. And the reason for that is our end customer, whether they're a consumer or a business, are getting more and more sophisticated in terms of what they expect to get out of the internet. And managed services enables that sophistication.
So are a lot of your partners going towards managed services? Do you find an uptrend in that at all, an upswing?
So the short answer is yes.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time traveling, talking to a lot of partners, and they are moving into the managed service space. Most of them have a type of offer or are going that way. The feedback we got, though, is that it's for a lot of them, it's a new business, and it's difficult to understand what they need and how to market it, which is why we launched the data center toolkit to really give them a way to not only create the offering very quickly with our products, Windows Server 08 and System Center, but also how to market it. And that's what I demonstrated today, is that, okay, so I've been telling you guys since last year, move up the stack. Now, let me show you how we've been doing it with some partners, and that's why I mentioned Maximum ASP and Applied Innovations, that it's very easy to get into this business and do it profitably. And hopefully we'll drive even more adoption this year.
So you feel like you've kind of had to reiterate that point the last 2 years, kind of, a little bit?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm a firm believer of repetition.
Yeah, well, it works.
Even towards me. So part of it is that when I come up and talk, it's really not about what is the trend of the day, but where the industry is going over the next few years. And so it would be really strange if I came every year and said, this is what the new thing is this year. We've seen the shift happening to managed services, but we knew it would be a shift that it would take a few years. And so that's what this is. It's just a reinforcement of the strategy. That's
good. I think that you hit the nail on the head. I mean, sometimes we're a bit fickle and we tend to go with, oh, this is this and whatever's new, right? But it is a good idea, and I feel like I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask, how will Microsoft benefit if all of your partners go towards managed hosting?
So great question.
Okay.
We benefit when our partners benefit.
Right.
So in the case of moving to managed services, it's very clear that when they move their customers into that kind of environment, they build up customer loyalty. They become a trusted advisor, which means they grow revenue, they increase their revenue per customer, and they decrease churn. That means their business is improving and becoming more stable, which then helps our business also become more stable and grow. Which is
a perfect idea in this kind of economy, right? Stability is probably a word your partners like to hear, I would imagine.
Yep, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I had a partner I talked to, and he said one thing he noticed being here from the last few years is that it hasn't changed. There is stability. People are talking about growing and moving forward, and he liked that very much. And that's what this is about, is following that strategy, adjusting, because the times have changed a bit, but not drastically changing and going with the flow and keeping away from the hype. So you heard about other things other areas we're talking about, we're focusing on, but they're longer term, and we'll talk about them more as we know more about them.
So thank you for that answer. That was excellent. And I kind of want to go back to the idea of the economy and this business. And it's clearly not being affected too much for the moment. I don't want to jinx anything, right?
Yeah, I agree. When I look at the growth trends, and from talking to some of the partners, we did see a slowdown the last quarter of 2008. And I think that's just the whole world decided to stop and wait.
Okay.
But if I look at our numbers and our growth rates in January and February, and hosters have also told me the same thing, the numbers are ticking right back up, and business is going, and I think businesses love the idea that they can reduce risk by buying as a service as opposed to paying a lot of upfront, the CapEx. And so we've got a healthy business.
Good. Well, that sounds like it's nice to hear some positive feedback and energy in this, when every day you open the paper and it's just like a disaster. I don't even want to read it anymore, Well, that's excellent, John. Thank you so much for chatting to us today. I think, you've done a great job. Congratulations on yet another Microsoft Summit. Nice meeting you.
Likewise. Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Good.